not playing that anytime soon.
Yeah.
That would take me quite a while to play that.
There's definitely something to be said of natural talent. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
part of it's practice, and then part of it is just kind of natural born talent.
And when he's playing this piece too, I'm gonna type into two side characters. Takashi Aiza is a rival to Kosei, and Emi Igawa. They are both around the same age as Kosei. Both of them were inspired to play piano because they heard Kosei. And it was so beautiful, it brought Emi to tears. And she comes home like, I want to play piano just like that boy that I heard. Um, and we'll talk about Kari because Kari was at that same performance. That's
Yeah.
kind of the plot twist at the end.
Yeah.
And even Takashi, he starts out, he's a spiky haired blonde kid. He looks like an absolute punk, but he's such a cool character. I love his character. I love the respect that he has for Kosei. Because when they're first introduced, like, oh, he's finally back. He's back from his 2 year hiatus of not playing piano. We are going to kick his ass. And Kosei's Kosei's natural talent, it is so enraging because Kosei is one of those characters that is a natural child prodigy of you've barely practiced in 2 years. I cannot believe you are still that good. I cannot believe you can play circles around these kids. That makes me. I am so proud of you for playing piano again, but I am so disgusted at your natural talent right now. It's impressive. The second friend I had in high school, he's a year younger than me, but he's in the same grade of schooling as I was. He started violin at 5. So by the time I started violin at 11, he was so advanced. He was just so incredible to listen to. His name was Jeff Lau. But yeah, there are players that and I'm sure you two have listened to just man, I can't believe that person
Yeah.
is that talented. A modern example of that I would say would be like Lindsey Sterling to someone. Um, in the other reason I love this show and I love advocating it is if this show inspires someone to even touch a piano or pick up the violin,
Yeah.
good, good. I love that there are shows out there that show these certain subjects. If it can even inspire one person to hop on a boat and go to Antarctica,
Yeah.
I would be very proud of like, yeah, yeah, that's
Hint,
great.
hint, we'll be doing a place further than the universe at some point.
Yes, we will be covering that wonderful show. Um, but after Kosei finishes piano solo in the violin competition, he gets this one woman in the audience. She's like, "It says, is it over? Oh my! I don't want this song to be." And she starts clapping. The whole audience goes nuts. Hiroko, she's sitting down with Emi's teacher, um, discussing Kosei, and the teacher's like tells Seto like I cannot believe after his I thought he was done after his mom's death. I can't believe he's picked up the pieces. And Hiroko's like, well, it's because of this violinist that he apparently met, and I heaven forbid something else happens in Kosei's life, like what happened with his mom. And lo and behold, Kosei's in the piano room practicing. Tsubaki rushes in, says, "Hey, Kaori's in the hospital again." So they go visit Tsubaki, and when he opens the door, Kosei opens the door. I think it was very creative that the anime showed his mom in the bed, all hooked
Yeah.
up to the machines, and it quickly pans to
Yeah.
Kaori in the same pose, saying, "Hey, how's it going?"
Yeah, because it's making this little. He starts to have this little panic attack. It's like, oh no, it's like deja vu for him. It's like it's starting all over again.
As an audience member, I'm like, "Oh no, come on, 13 episodes, really? Don't do this to me, show."
Of course, I'm waiting for each fall. I'm like, okay, when is she gonna die? When
Mm-hmm.
is she gonna die? I'm waiting for it. Oh no, they just keep dangling that. Like, no, she hasn't. She's not dead yet. She's not gone. She's still hanging on.
This gets into the series where I think they could have cut out 3/4 of the material. Where um, Takeshi has a little sister, and she actually ends up taking lessons. She wants to take lessons from Hiroko Seto. Hiroko, who's sort of quasi living with Arima, or at least close by,
Mm.
is like, oh yeah, I'll teach you. Here, I'll have Arima teach you instead. And the little sister, it's so funny because her big brother Takeshi is such a hero to her,
Mm.
and seeing him frustrated losing to Kosei competition after competition, she's like, I'm gonna sabotage this guy
Mm.
so my brother can finally win. Um, she actually takes a liking to Kosei and his lessons, everything that he actually helps her play. But sadly, as much as I like that, it felt like it dragged on for 3 episodes, and it felt like, man, this could have been cut out, and I would not have lost a thing. At the same time, I like these episodes because it shows that Kosei has definitely built a foundation of resolve.
Yeah.
I appreciate these episodes
Mm.
because they could have easily gone down that rabbit hole of him relapsing back to
They had to
episode
give him a
one.
firm foundation so that when ultimately she does die, he has students, he has friends that he can hold on to. That he's like, no, 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 I don't have to relapse because I have a whole big bright world
There's
left
a
to
bigger
me.
picture.
Right, there's a bigger picture.
Um, the scenes with Kaori, those are some rough scenes for me. Um, a lot of them, it's very melodramatic. I'm a
Mm.
sucker for the melodrama, sadly. So I am the perfect sucker audience for scenes like this, where she's asking Kosei like, "Will you remember me?" Blah blah blah. Or would it have just been easier if you and I had never met? I was like, "Oh
Mm.
no, no! Look how much good you've done in this poor kid's life.
Yeah.
I think it's excellent that you guys have met, but I just wish the circumstances were better."
Mm.
One of the episodes I would not have cut at all was the Tsubaki centric episodes. Because at this point in the series, she's dating a high school kid.
Mm.
During the dates, though, all she's talking about is she is bitching and whining about Kosei this, Kosei that, Kosei
Mm.
this. And the boyfriend's being a good boyfriend, like, you had a bad day? This guy sounds. Well, it seems you were pretty cool with him, and he's getting the hint that she's not really into him anymore. It's
Mm.
it's a very mature topic because Tsubaki's been infatuated with this high school kid for a while.
Mm.
He's easily a grade older than her. It sounds like the difference between an eighth grader and a ninth grader, where the ninth grader goes off to the freshman center, kind
Mm.
of thing. Um, and it tears her up on the inside too, because she's like, I've been wanting this for so long. Kosei I've just viewed as a little brother that I have to take care of, an annoyance on my side, but he's always been there for me, and vice versa. I think it was very well handled. This teenage drama, I could not have imagined it being handled so well.
I think she settled more for him because she did like him at first because
Mm-hmm.
she kind of admired his skill at was it baseball that they were playing
Baseball. Mm-hmm.
baseball, and I think she just settled for him because she was trying to tell herself, well, I'm never gonna be with Arima. He's never gonna like me. He likes another girl. So I just need to move on. And that was her attempt to move on,
Mm-hmm.
which backfired on her because, of course, she's not going to move on. She's always going to like Arima. So she's kind of like, well, it's funny how he breaks it to her. He's like, you don't really like me. I've started dating another girl. Goodbye. I mean, it's really nice. He does it really nicely.
Yeah.
But she's just
Mm-hmm.
sitting there like, wow, I really blew it. I make no bones about who I really like. So obvious that I can literally be dumped.
I love her friend too, because her friend has this resting bitch face, and she just calls Tsubaki out on whatever. And
Yeah.
I love the character. I love when antagonists are like, or protagonists get called out on their faults. I don't like. Let's take the Cell games for example. Of, oh guys, just wait, Gohan's gonna do it.
Mm.
Just it's like, no, you're an idiot. And you're letting your 12-year-old boy fight this monster. He's like, no, it's gonna pay off, guys. And after the Cell Juniors neutralize the Z Fighters, Gohan finally blows his stack and ends up saving the day. It's no, no, let there be consequences. You're an idiot for not taking the senzu bean yourself. I want consequence. And okay, before you throw daggers in the comments that Goku did die, I I am glad that that was a consequence, but in Dragon Ball,
Mm.
consequences can be erased with a wish.
Mm.
So the lesson learned was absolutely nothing. But
Because there was money to be made by keeping him
yes,
alive.
and um, but with this show, yeah, Tsubaki absolutely gets called out by her friend. Um, and Tsubaki's walking home, and the friend calls Kosei saying, "Hey, Tsubaki's in trouble." Very vague. So Kosei's thinking, "Oh, she got mugged. She's crying somewhere." So he's running desperately to find her. He bumps into her, and they start just reminiscing as when they were kids and talking, and they actually sing um, a I can't remember the etude, but it's a very beautiful scene on the beach. There's a wonderful flashback to when they were smaller, where about her footprints being so big, and Kosei's just being like a little child. And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of her mindset of like, oh, he's always been that little brother. And she's walking behind him. She steps in his footprint, like, he's really grown up. Ever since he met Kaori, he's had this step of confidence back. He's like come back to life. And she's talking about, Kosei's talking about going on to a music school that's far away. And every time in her life growing up, when she's wanted to get closer to Kosei as a friend, music has always gotten in the way. I like the scene of the, hey, let's play on the playground tomorrow, and the mom and this other woman's like, oh, Kosei's too busy for that. He's gonna be a professional pianist, and he's gonna go far away. It's like nudge, nudge. It's like, ow, come on, guys, be gentle. There, and there's another part too where she's in school and like, hey, have you heard that Kosei's able to miss school today because he's in a piano competition today? And she's sitting there in the next class, which is choir. She just sits down, covers her ears, like, I hate music because it keeps taking my friend away from me. And this time too, it's like all this stuff bottled up year after year. And when he says, hey, I'm going off to this far off town to go to the music school, she loses it. She drops her ice cream cone, runs off crying. I think it was maybe my fourth favorite scene. I think I liked the music. I liked the insert song popping in. I liked the, yeah, that sounds really sadistic. A girl running and crying her heart out on a beach, barefoot, with her heart broken. But it's so animated. It's so animated, and I like the build up, and I like the payoff for that scene. What is your take on the that relationship?
I think it's very realistic for the kind of the tomboy type relationship for girls because they always want to be seen as tough and confident, and it's just really difficult for her to say I like you other than just being friends. She also doesn't know quite what she's also a little jealous. He knows exactly what he's going to do with the rest of his life, and she's still kind of wondering, what am I going to do
Mm-hmm.
after high school, or what are going to be my pursuits? He gets all these cuts because, like you said, because he can play so well, but I'm just kind of an ordinary girl. How can I possibly keep up a friendship with someone so different, walking a
Mm-hmm.
different path than me?
Yeah, and after that episode, it goes into Takashi's little sister taking lessons from. Even though I griped about those episodes being there, I also appreciated because it's firmly set that Kosei has a foundation, that he's not gonna spiral back to where he was. And even the little sister I liked because they had a wonderful little piano duet too, and it lights a fire under the brothers' ass to, oh my gosh, why'd my sister go to? Yeah, I'm gonna beat you in a piano competition, and it that seeing her brother get re-fired up like that, helps her kind of, oh, this is great. That I'm liking how things turned out in the series with the other side characters. Uh, Going back to Kari, who's been, it's very funny because you can definitely tell Kari that that poor Watari is just an accessory to get close to Kosei at this point. Kari dresses up in her school uniform without her backpack. She sneaks out of the hospital just to see Kosei. She mints to say, "Hey, I want to see Watari." Goes on a shopping date with him. Goes to the top of the hospital roof. It's just some really beautiful scenes between the two of these plutonic friends. And um, the second to last episode, I actually absolutely lost it because Kari decides to have this. It's an all or nothing surgery. It will either fix her problem or she is going to die during the process if it fails. The parents are absolutely in full agreement with it. Like, it's all or nothing. That's how our daughter is. We're in agreement with it because the payoff would be huge. Um, and she gets inspired because of that piano duet with the little sister. Because Watari did Kosei a favor of sending her an audio file of the performance, and Kari's like, okay, I've got it. I don't care if it's a month that I got by myself or a few years, but I want to play a duet again with Kosei. And she's on the roof. Kosei has completely gone into another spiral. It's his mom all over again. Um, and she stands up. Her legs for most of the second half of the series have failed her. There's a very sad scene. I think she's in the hospital. She's wandering the halls, all gleefully and joyfully. Her legs give out on her. She can't move. She can't even move anything from the waist down, essentially. And she is like hitting her fist on her legs, just like, work, darn it, work. I cried during that scene. I cried a lot during this series. No holds bar on this series. Uh, she, but during the scene, she stands up and she starts playing an air violin, and it's corny when I describe it, but if you see it, because Kosei's definitely like, there's no point to this anymore. I can't play anymore. I'm back to square one where I was, and he hears the violin. He hears her playing this air violin, and I think half of it is he sees her standing up. He's like, oh my goodness, they're okay. If you're fighting, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna do my piano competition. The last episode, he ends up sitting at the piano bench. He completely shuts down again in the middle of before he hasn't started playing, so he's not gonna get docked points or anything. Because until you start, you're fine. Whatever happens before you that first note, judges really don't pay attention to. Um, and he finally, he's like, all these people in my life, my best friend, I've never been alone. Even though my mom's dead, I've always had her music instilled in me. My mom's friend is back in town. She's helped me. And he's going through every character, minor or even the rivals too. He's names off like, I'm not alone. He definitely sees the bigger picture, and he starts playing his solo piece, which is Ballad Number One in G minor by Chopin. And Japan loves Chopin.
Yeah, they love Chopin.
There is a JRPG called Eternal Sonata, where you actually play as Frederick Chopin, who is in a coma, and he goes into a fantasy world. He beats stuff with his music baton, which is absolutely hilarious. That
Oh my gosh.
he is beating the rhythm into these monsters. But yeah, he's playing, and Akari's gone under for surgery, and Kosei just gets lost in the music. That's because he can't read the notes. He's probably still can't hear it. the notes anymore, but he's just thinking. He's definitely come a long way seeing the bigger picture. And I cannot even imagine the animation budget for this series, especially that last episode for 15 minutes. A lot of it is CG, but it's this heavenly background of this blue sky with clouds on a ocean, this flat still water as the ground. And Kaori appears in his mind playing side by side with him on this piano solo. The but they improvise of Kaori was very so talented she could realistically improvise a part on the spot for herself to play. And they're playing this beautiful duet, and it cuts back to the surgery. You actually see her blood pressure lowering. It's like, oh, okay, oh, no, nothing's panicking yet. So I think it's fine. But when the sun sets, the sun sets to nightfall, and if you've seen enough Fantasia, if you can match up visual representation with the music, I think that is a very ingenious. And if you can catch these interpretations, you can definitely tell that her life is leaving her, that she is dying. And the part where she starts fading away, because she's dead at this point, and her heart bursts into these thousands, millions of lights coming from her chest, like the life is being extinguished from her. And he's still playing this really intense part of the ballad. He continues the piece and the piece it gets very somber at the end. I could not imagine a better selection to match up with what's going on in the story. Going on visual representation, did you notice the first half of the series how blonde her hair was and how
Mm.
colorful it was? And when she's in the
It,
hospital,
it gets
it gets
duller.
very muted.
Yeah, he's muted. Well, one thing that I'm not sure if we've mentioned is that he sees his whole world in black and white
Mm-hmm.
after his mother passes, and then all of a sudden, when she steps in, the world's in color. The whole world's in
Yep.
color, and as she fades away again, then things start to take a muted tone and go back into shades of gray, pretty much.
Another example of this. If you go back and watch the Byakuya versus Ichigo fight on Sokyoku Hill, Byakuya has this white aura with his Bankai. Ichigo's is obviously black. You have these two very strong ideals clashing, like it's a very black and white opinion clashing in the middle. They're two Ryatsus. Kind of that symbolism of like, yeah, two ideas that are not going to bend. This immovable object versus an unstoppable object just clashing at a deadlock with their blades. And in the middle is this gray dust, forming that gray area essentially in the middle. Um, so after Kaori dies, the parents. Oh, Kaori's parents. Why you actually get to see them a lot? They own their own family business. They own a bakery shop. If you've ever seen Clan Ed, I like that kind of tongue in cheek reference to that because Clan Ed's very similar with the girl and her parents. Um, there's I really like the parent. Really liked her parents because when Kosei's trying to go down that stream of, I've your kid's done a lot for me. I've done absolutely nothing, and I wouldn't say that, Kosei. You've inspired our little Kaori to continue fighting. She's going through physical therapy, trying to walk again. She's doing it for you. Yeah, I kind of like that messaging because Kosei is kind of at times very hopeless. But they meet up with him at the funeral, and they give him a letter that she addressed to him that she wrote sometime well before when she was in the hospital bed alive. So the naming of Your Lie in April is all in this last 10 minutes. Kaori admits to him that she first met Kosei when she was 5 years old during that piano competition that inspired Emmy. And when Emmy talked about it, it was such a beautiful performance where she cried. So that flashback little Kaori sitting next to Emmy. You hear this little girl crying, and
Mm.
Kaori's so impressed by Kosei's playing. She comes home. She's like, I'm not gonna do piano anymore. I want to do violin. And it's like, why would you do that? That way I can play with that boy. He can be
Mm.
my accompanist someday. We can't play together if we both play the same solo instrument. um, she also admits that the she had a horrible fall in seventh grade, and she overheard her parents crying in the hospital because she was hospital most of the seventh grade,
Mm.
and she figures, I'm just gonna take life by the hooves. I've really maybe have I'm on borrowed time at this point. She switches from glasses to contacts. She lets her hair down. She eats pastries out the wazoo, like a complete. It's one of those questions of like, you have 24 hours to live. What would you do?
Yeah. Yeah, the whole live life to the fullest because I don't, eat, drink, and be merry for tomorrow you die kind of attitude. But yeah, she's definitely a very inspiring character throughout the season, of let it go, relax, and make the most of the time that you're given.
Mm-hmm. And so she always knew she actually went to school with Kosei, um, and she was always there. She knew who the three. She never talked to him because she felt like I would be the third wheel. I'd be
Mm.
breaking into your little trio with Watari and Tsubaki, and it's not exactly like, hey Tsubaki, I like your friend that you like. That it's
Mm.
painfully obviously that you like. um, so she came up with a lie of like, hey, I like the sports jock
Mm.
Watari, and that lie led to all the interactions from there.
Yeah.
Um, I also like that she even admitted too, like she knew Tsubaki liked Kosei, and but Kaori even writes in her letter that I fell in love with you, but I didn't want to leave a mess, so that hence
Mm.
the lie too.
Right.
She very generous homewrecker.
Well, she knew that she
Homewrecker,
was
but
gonna die, and that it would be better off if he got together with someone else and not her, because she knew that she would not be able to devote herself to it
mm-hmm.
in a normal type relationship. It was never gonna be normal.
But going into the opening, I keep going back to. Opening one is called Hikaru Nara and is performed by Goose House. Definitely give it a listen to. The second opening, it shamefully does not get as much love as the first opening. It is called Nanairo Symphony by a group named Seven. It is definitely worth a listen to. Some of my favorite songs from the entire series, the classical sections, are Violin Sonata Number 9, which is the Kreutzer Sonata Movement 1 by Beethoven, the the Chrysler Ode Viennese Melodies, which is Love Sorrow, and the Ballad Number 1 in G minor. The violinist that they had to record for the show is named Yuna Shinohara. The pianist, they used two of them, Tomoki Sakata and Iroko Kawachi were the two pianists that they used to record. Closing thoughts on this series. I like the give and take of. I definitely think Kosei breathed life into Kaori in her last year to live. That definitely gave her inspiration. Because him playing the piano, it definitely made her want to play violin. And that last year of your life, I'm finally going to talk to that boy, gosh darn it. Like,
Mm.
I'm on borrowed time. I've always wanted to play with him. I've just hadn't, with my illness, I haven't had a chance to. So I'm going to make that happen. So he kind of helped her live out the remaining of her days.
Mm-hmm.
But Kaori saved Kosei. It's this very give and take, pay it back theme that I liked.
Yeah, basically, she helps him so he can continue on living well, and then he helps her so she can pass away well.
And
In peace.
she And Kari and Watari definitely help Tsubaki, because Kari in the sense of bringing life back to Kosei. That's the Kosei that Tsubaki fell in love with. That's the
Mm.
Kosei that she always
Mm.
wanted him to return to, not this
Right.
shell of himself. Um, I like the plot twist with the mom because the I wouldn't say plot twist, but the reveal that she was really a genuine person. It's just poorly executed. It's like, yo, man, did you? I get what you're trying to do, but did you have to do it that way? Could we not have eased up a
Mm.
little bit on the child abuse? I mean, good grief. A funny note: the dub of Kosei is voiced by Max Middleman, who is Saitama from One Punch Man, and the other funny voice that I thought was Ryota Watari. He voices Mob from Mob Psycho 100. The Japanese Kaori is voiced by Risa Taneda, who is Arina Nakiri from Food Wars. The English dub of Kaori is Erica Lindbeck, who does Black Cat from the PS4 Spider-Man game. And that was about most of the noble actors that I saw. Sorry if I forgot any. But your closing thoughts on.
More of my closing thoughts is that it's definitely for those who want a romance. That if you like those tragic romances that are done well, definitely give this one a watch, and definitely if you like music too. I mean, it doesn't really explain as you're watching. It's more of an emotional ride with the music. It spends more time on the relationship than the music or the
Mm-hmm.
competitions, but the few music pieces it has are very epic. The animation is also very beautiful, and definitely with the whole theme of April and spring, and that spring is fleeting and time's fleeting for this character. She kind of
Yeah.
embodies spring itself
Mm-hmm.
and the sakura blossoms. You start out beautiful and growing, and then falls away and turns to dust pretty much.
Yes.
But in a good way. I mean, she ends well. It ends it up. You may be crying, but not in a bad way, like, oh my gosh, I need to, just go in a corner and sob. No, it's not that. It's like, okay, the characters died, but I feel okay. I feel like the characters are going to still go on well.
Okay, well, that wraps up this episode. I actually set up an email account for the channel. It's called Sunday Anime Chat Podcast at yahoo.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at CTS2785. Veronica actually has a Facebook page called Vivi's.
Crazy cosplays, and just check the links below. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and of course now YouTube. So yeah, you can check all that in the links below.
And our next episode that we're going to review, it's going to be the last one of my picks for a while. Is going to be a place further than the universe. We'll see you guys in May. Bye.
Bye.
Hey YouTube. Remember to check the links below if you liked it, comment, subscribe. I didn't talk a whole lot in this episode because it's been a while since I've seen the series. Please comment below what cosplay you'd like to see me in next. This is just a random blonde anime high schooler. Catch you later. Peace. Bye.